Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this video. It's me again, Teacher Kent. Now, for those of you who do not know, I have already posted a mm, chapter test on Google Classrooms. I need you to answer the test. And when you answer the test, you take a photo of it when you're done, and then you can pass it to me in Google Classroom so that I could score your test. Now, I know that maybe you already forgot some of the things that we talked about because last week we started a new topic. So I decided that I will have a review with the test in question so that you could have a good score in the written test. So all you need to do right now is to listen to me, okay? Because I am going to show you the test paper and then we will review together, okay? But I will not write down the correct answer. I will not check which one is the correct answer. I will tell you, but you need to listen. Okay? Let's start, shall we? So, I'm going to show you the first one. And this is for the test all about friction and force. Now, first question. What is the push or pull of an object? This is the very basic question, class. I think I don't need to explain this one. But let's just review, okay? So before we could answer that, we need to know, what does push mean? What does push mean? Push means you move something away from your body. That is what push means. And what about pull? What does pull mean? Pull means you move something closer to your body. I think you already know. What is the correct answer there? What is the push or pull of an object? Is it A, push? Is it B, pull? Is it C, force? Or D, movement? The answer is obviously letter C, force, because force, when you apply force to an object, it's a push force or a pull force. So the answer to number one is C, force. How about number two? What factor affects friction? What factor affects friction? Is it A, height, B, weight, C, both B and C, or D, roughness and weight? Before we answer this one, let's review. What is friction? Do you still remember? Friction is, it's the opposite. It's the complete opposite of a force. That is friction. Every single thing that is on this earth right now has friction and has force applied to it. If you kick a football with your bare feet, you will feel hurt too, because you apply force to the football. At the same time, the football applies force to you. The football will continue rolling until it stops. And the force that makes the football stop is what we call friction. Now, what factors affect friction? The thing, if you notice that it's easier for you to slide on slippery substances rather than rough ones. It's because friction, there's less friction on slippery things than rough things. So one of the answer is roughness. So I think that's letter D. And of course, friction also is affected by how much an object weighs. So it's both roughness and weight. The answer to number 2 is roughness and weight. So, number 3, what is the opposite of force? Oh, I hope you heard me when I said this, because I already said this a few minutes ago. What is the opposite of force? Is it A, force? Is it B, friction? Is it C, weight? Or is it D, height? The opposite of force. It's not also force, okay? So that's force is not the correct answer. Letter C, weight. I don't think a weight and force are actually opposite. How about height? No, I don't think height is the answer either. So that only leaves letter B, friction. And friction is the opposite of force. Let's go to number 4. What is the force exerted by water that surrounds us on oceans and seas? Now, I'm going to explain this one. We have different pressures or forces. Pressure, it's when there's a different force applied to a specific area. When you go swimming in the sea, the farther down you go to the bottom of the sea, you will feel that it's harder to swim. And that is because it has more pressure. The farther you go down to the sea, the more pressure it has. So, what do we call the pressure that is found on oceans or inside oceans and seas, or any type of water that is very deep? Is it A, air pressure? Is it B, liquid pressure? Is it C, strong pressure? Or is it D, buoyant force? The correct answer is letter B, liquid pressure. That is why scuba divers, they can only go down up to a certain heights or a certain depth, because if they go down further, they might hurt their bodies because of the pressure being applied to it by the ocean and the sea. So we got the answer to number 4. Let's go to number 5. What is the force that allows objects to float on the surface of water? It's on the surface of water, class. So, there is a force that allows objects to float. It's not air pressure, because air pressure is pressure from the air. It's not liquid pressure because it's not pressure from liquids. It's also not strong pressure because strong pressure, there is such a thing as strong pressure, but that is not the correct answer. The correct answer is letter D, buoyant force. The force that allows objects to float on the surface of water is buoyant force or buoyancy. Okay? What is the ability of an object to float? Oh no, I've already given you the answer to this based from the previous question. So what is the ability of an object to float? Is it A, buoyancy? Is it B, hardness? Is it C, flexibility? Or is it D, electrical conductivity? Well, from the previous question, we know that the force that allows objects to float on the surface of water is called buoyant force. So the ability of an object to float is simply called buoyancy. That's it. That's buoyancy. Number 7, what do you call force in the air? I think this is also very easy. Is it A, air pressure? Is it B, liquid pressure? Is it C, strong pressure? Or is it D, buoyant force? Well, obviously, the correct answer is letter A, air pressure. Now, air pressure is so strong that every year there's like 1,000 or 100 or hundreds of small or big meteors that come down to Earth. Okay, it comes up, goes down. But the air pressure of the Earth is so strong that it burns. It will burn the meteor. It burns it so much that it becomes very, very small until when it touches the ground, it doesn't do much damage because it's already been burned. And sometimes they don't even touch the ground. And that is called air pressure. Airplanes also know about air pressure. That is why when you fly up in the sky, you feel it. You feel that your body is fighting against air pressure. And it's the same when the airplane is going down. Number 8, what do you call force in the water? I think I also gave this answer already. It's the same. The force in the water is the same as the force exerted by water that surrounds us on oceans and seas. So the answer is obviously the same. And what was the answer to that question? Was it air pressure, liquid pressure, strong pressure, or buoyant force? It is liquid pressure. It's letter B. Now, number 9, which object has the most friction? Is it A, a football field? Is it B, a slippery road? Is it C, playground slide? Or is it D, a wet floor? Which object has the most friction? Remember that friction is affected by the roughness and the weight. In roughness, the rougher the object, the stronger the friction. So which is the roughest of these? Is it the football field, the slippery road, the playground slide, or the wet floor? It is the letter A, football field. Number 10, which objects have the most friction? Is it A, the bicycle? Is it B, a skateboard? Is it C, tires? Or is it D, cars? Which object has the most friction? And remember what I said again a few moments ago. The object's friction is based on the weight and the roughness of the object. Since the bicycle, the skateboard, the tires, and the car have the same type of sliding item, which is a wheel or a tire, so we only need to know which one of them weighs more, because the more an object weighs, the more friction it has. So which of these 4 weighs more? Of course, it's letter D, cars. And that's it. I gave you the answers to test 1. That's 1 to 10. You just needed to listen to me. I will not write the answers down. You just need to listen and you can write the answers down by yourself. For test 2, what can force do? I will just also say it, and it's up to you to write it down. Well, force can do 6 things. It can, number 1, make an object that is not moving move. Number two, make an object that is already moving move faster. Number three, make an object that is moving to slow down. Number four, make an object that is moving. Force can make it stop moving. Five, make a moving object change direction. And of course, number six, make an object change shape. That's it. That's the answer to what force can do. Now, since I already gave you most of the answers and we reviewed it already, I expect all of you to get perfect score. Okay? Good. I will see you in class. Bye.